Hey guys, I'm Cassie, and this is my husband Brennan, and we are the Davises. Our little girl is in bed. We're really nervous, but we just wanted to let everybody know that we are starting a YouTube channel. I've gotten a lot of requests for one, and so the name of our channel is called Wheeling Through Life, and the reason we named it that is because I have cerebral palsy, and so that makes it a little difficult for me to get around, and so sometimes I use a wheelchair, so hence wheeling through life, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we've gotten a lot of requests to talk about our dating story and what it was like with me dating, and then for Brennan to date somebody with a disability, and just kind of his perspective of it. And so I'll start off with kind of my dating experience before meeting Brennan, and then we'll kind of go into that. So because I walk a little different and have a disability, dating was always a little more difficult for me. I had to be really blunt and forward, I guess, to let people know that I was interested in them. And I had to do a lot of asking out on dates because a lot of people, I believe, were intimidated by my disability. And so I didn't have a lot of dating experience. I had a few boyfriends in college, but they were all just kind of like, well, I don't know if I can accept the disability. It kind of makes me uncomfortable, which is totally fine. But the thing that was really annoying is nobody was willing to ask questions. They just made assumptions, and I wasn't able to explain to them how I am and different things. And so people wouldn't even give me a chance. They wouldn't even date me. They wouldn't even try because they were too scared by the disability. So I was really discouraged, and being a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, you know, they teach marriage and it's important. And so that was something that I grew up wanting badly, was to be married and to have a family. And I just didn't know if it would be possible because of the disability. But then in 2015, that changed. So that's when I met Brennan, and I'll tell maybe my perspective, and then Brennan can tell his perspective. And if you guys have questions, leave them in the comments, and we'll answer the questions through the comments. So Brennan moved into the ward and was, cute, attractive, kind of flirty. But, I didn't have problems getting guys to flirt with me. It was the commitment and the dating me. And so I decided to place a bet with Brennan. And I said, whoever reads their scriptures more, or whoever doesn't read their scriptures the most in 30 days, so whoever the loser is, has to take the other one out on a date.
And you
Or
guess who lost that?
yeah, and I knew I would win, so I set it up perfectly so that he'd have to take me out. And really it was, and if whoever won also took the person out on a date. So either way, you win. So anyway, we did that challenge. We were pretty consistent, and then Brennan just gave up after maybe 10 days. But so I won, and I knew that he was nervous, but I was like, we're going on a date. And so he took me to a jazz game, and it was fun. The conversation was fun, but I knew he wasn't going to ask me out again. So I just thought to myself, okay, well, I'm just going to keep asking him out. And until he tells me no, I'll just keep doing it. It's his problem if he doesn't say no. So I kept asking him out, and he kept saying yes. But when we'd have conversations, he'd say, oh, I'm not interested, or, I don't like you like that. But then we just remained friends, and we kept going out on dates. And I use that as an opportunity to talk about my disability and to bring stuff up. And the nice thing about Brennan was he actually would ask questions. So I would say something like, well, why aren't you interested? And he'd say, because certain things make me nervous. And I would say, like what? And then he would ask a question. Well, are you going to be able to have kids? Or tell me about your disability. He would ask a question, and then I would be able to answer it. And so that would make him feel a little more comfortable. There was a lot of back and forth of, I like you, I don't like you. It took him a while to hold my hand. It took him 7 Harry Potter movies, people. 7. But I finally was like, Brennan, if you give me a month of where you're all in and we go on dates and stuff, then you'll fall in love with me. And he's like, yeah, whatever. And it took longer than a month, but it worked. So we dated for 9 months before we got engaged, and then we were engaged for 3 months. So we dated about a year from start to finish when we were married. And we were married on December 15th of 2015 in the Payson Temple. So, and we'll maybe do another video about that and everything like that. But I just wanted Brennan to take this time to talk about what he was thinking and some of his concerns and what it was like dating me. And some of what he may say might be a little, I don't know, blunt or forward, but I want him to be completely honest. That's the whole point of this. And yeah, so take it away, sweetie.
Well, I think some of the things that were hard for me when I looked at Cassie is, well, I'm just going to have a bet and I'm not going to think anything of it. I lost the bet, and obviously I got a whole bunch more out of it than I anticipated. But I think the big thing that was hard for me is, well, I've never really dated anyone with a disability, so I don't really know how that's going to go. And coming to think about it, it was definitely hard to figure out what to do. So praying about it and figuring out what to do, where to go with my life, is Cassie the one that I want to date? Well, as she kept showing more interest in me, I was like, whoa, I've never really had someone show this much interest in me. Usually it was the other way around. I had to get people to like me, which is obviously far from what you do when you date. But it was the opposite. Cassie liked me more than I think I liked her, which was the hard part for her. So I think for me, looking for that right person, I didn't see that in Cassie at first. But then over time, it changed. And I saw her how strong she was. Even though she didn't fit all my check boxes, of what I was looking for, I come to find out that I had more hidden check boxes that I wasn't even aware of. So Cassie hit a lot of those check boxes in there for me. But some of those check boxes were like, well, she can't ever really go on a hike with me. That's a little hard. But going on a hike and doing a lot more stuff actively is a little hard for us as a couple to go out and do things. But come to find out that we could do things that a normal couple could do, same things. We could go to the movies. We could, we didn't know if we could have a baby. That was one conversation we had a lot, dating and stuff like that. So we'll talk about that further as we generate more videos for you guys. But I think when it comes down to it is deciding if I was going to date Cassie or not. The ultimatum was, well, she may be on the outside different, but on the inside, she's still a normal person. She's still the same person. And I think that was her strengths are what were more attractive to me than what I was seeing on the outside. And then eventually the outside got more attractive to me and both of them became attractive. So I think the ultimate thing here is that I think if you find the right person, you're not going to find them right off the bat, and they're not going to hit all your check boxes. And I think that that's definitely the hard thing to kind of get past is, well, you got to give someone a chance more than once, probably 2, 3, or 4 times before you can just decide that, hey, they're the right person. Well, that's what I did, and look where we're at now. We're married, we have a kid, and we're even talking about maybe moving on to the second one. Probably not for a little while, but we're already talking about that. That's crazy, within almost 4.5, 5 years. So I think that's kind of about my story. So I don't know if.
So let me ask you. So what made it easy as time went on? Like, how did you overcome the fear of dating somebody with a disability or your concerns? Like, what did you do to overcome that?
To overcome dating with someone with a disability, I think it's just the way that I changed my outlook, my view on it, is that Cassie doesn't have a disability. Even though she may seem like out on the outside she has a disability, everybody has disabilities. I have a disability, whether it's being able to talk in front of people, which is not one of my strengths. As you guys can tell in this YouTube video, I'm probably all over the place, but that's one of my disabilities. That's really hard. So I think that was the thing, is seeing Cassie as someone other than just having a disability. She has a personality. She has a love, and her testimony of Jesus Christ and all that stuff is strong. And that's definitely something that I wanted in someone. And everything else was just kind of not as important. And those were the more important things. So the way that I saw Cassie, the disability, kind of just became less and less of a problem, or less of a problem for me to date her, I guess is the way to put it. So.
And what advice would you give someone with a disability who's discouraged about dating? And then what advice would you give somebody without, quote unquote, a disability and being open to dating someone?
I think dating someone with a disability is definitely different, because you got to think, okay, well, what are we going to do? What are we going to do on our date? Can this so-and-so do this, or can they do that? Or, you kind of question that. And, well, are we going to be able to do a lot of things? And kind of like I said before, is, finding things that you can do together you can do as a normal couple. Certain things, me and Cassie can't go on hikes with each other, but it doesn't mean that I still can't go. I can't go with some friends, but I can make it possible by Cassie being there, by either maybe FaceTiming her or, Skyping her in a video, things like that. But I think for you guys, I think being able to look past the disability is the hardest thing, I think, and the hardest thing for me. But I think it takes time and it's hard, but I think as you look past it, you can really see the person for who they are. They're not just this person with a disability, but again, you realize, hey, everybody has a disability. And if you're dating someone that does have a disability, or someone that maybe doesn't hit all your check boxes, I think regardless, it's the way that you see that person and the way that you feel about that person that's the most important thing. If you feel like they don't hit all your check boxes, then maybe you're setting your standards a little too high, like I did. And not that you can't have high standards, it's just I think you're setting your expectations too high. So I think you're expecting them to hit every checkbox. Well, maybe they'll hit more than your checkboxes, okay? And that's definitely what I got out of it. So looking for all those checkboxes, that's definitely what you need to evaluate, I think, when it comes to dating.
And I think another thing, like I said in the beginning, is Brennan was the first guy that actually asked questions. And sometimes they were hard conversations. Like, well, people are going to stare at us, or you're going to fall down, or, what about having kids, or what are we going to be able to do on dates? Like, he would ask me all those questions. But I think it was nice because he didn't make assumptions. You can't make assumptions about somebody. If they don't check everything off your list, give them 2 or 3 dates. Find out a little bit more about them, because you can't get to know somebody based on assumptions. You have to ask questions. And that was something that Brennan was really good at. And we're still having those conversations. Sometimes the disability comes up, not in the sense that he doesn't like it, or he doesn't like being married to somebody with a disability, but it's like, what are we going to do in this scenario? Like when we had a baby, what are we going to do? Or I really want to do this activity, can you do it? Or those types of things. So you just need to be honest. And I think, like, it's all about being honest, no assumptions, and not having a checklist that everything has to be checked off. You have main ones, do they have a testimony? Do we have the same morals? There are some deals and deal breakers, but everything else, I don't remember who said it, but we were taking a marriage prep class or something, and they said, or it was an apostle, I don't remember, but they said, you marry potential, not perfection. And I think both of us could see that each of us had a potential, and we could see the eternal perspective of where we could end up together. And sometimes that's all you can do, especially during hard stuff. Anything else? Okay, so that's our story. Oh, and the other thing of this story is, just because you're a girl doesn't mean you can't pursue the guy. Like, sometimes guys just don't know what they're missing out on, and you just have to pursue them. So this is our story. We'll be adding videos periodically. It probably will mostly be me, and then sometimes Brennan will come in, but we're going to talk about what it's like every day for me as a mom with a disability. I'll tell you videos on what I do with Jamie, how we maneuver things. I sell mascara and makeup, so I'll have some videos about that. Maybe Brennan will get on and do some videos for himself. I don't know, but it's just going to be a whole lot of random, a whole lot of fun. So share, like, comment, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you later.